Hi, Tiffany. Welcome back to my tea shop. How are you, Tiffany? I hope you're doing well. Today we have my January and February wrap up. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Jordaline, it's like the middle of March. Where has this been? And let me tell you, it's been in the works. I felt as though I didn't have enough books to talk about to do like a whole dedicated video for January or February. So I just combined them. I really truly read a plethora of books, like different types. We've got some manga, we've got some horror, we've got all kinds of stuff. We also have a few DNFs. I did DNF a few books and we're going to talk about it, okay? We're going to talk about why. I need you to know that I want to be a goal-oriented kind of girly. Like I want to be the kind of girly who has like a 5-year plan. I want to be the kind of girl who has like a 10-year plan. Can you imagine? Literally in this economy, there's no freaking way, my guy. But I want to be that kind of girl. I want to be the kind of girl who like does those like morning routines where she like sets up the camera and like films herself like pretending to get out of bed. I want to be that girl. It seemed as though the universe was like, no, you're a rat, not a frog, until today's sponsor, Skillshare, showed me a little class. First of all, Tiffany, you know about Skillshare because I can't stop talking about it. I'm obsessed with Skillshare. I love them so much. Like, I love them. But just in case you don't know, Skillshare is the largest online learning community. The largest, okay? It's a place where you can go and learn about all kinds of freaky fun things. There are so many different types of classes that you can take. The class that I am going to talk about with you today is one that I took recently with this woman named Kate called Personal Productivity, 5 Exercises to Make Your Big Goal a Reality. Listen, I saw the title and I thought, I don't really necessarily have like a huge goal, but I do love the idea of like mastering kind of like goal setting, achieving one's goals. You know what I mean? Because like I feel as though I have like 1,000 bajillion ones in my head. And this class, bro, you think like, oh, it's gonna be something about like making a to-do list. No, Kate really put her full bussy into this. She talks about it in like 3 areas of your life, like emotional, physical, intellectual. When we got to that part in the class, I was like, why does this resonate so much with me? Because it opened my eyes to certain things that I wasn't thinking about, I wasn't aware of, that I wasn't really like clocking. Kate was clocking it. Her class has just been so helpful for me. Kate's class is just one of thousands of types of classes that you can take at Skillshare. When you join Skillshare, there's options every which way. We've got classes on like productivity. We've got classes on like filming. We've got classes on like YouTube. We've got classes on like Notion. We've got classes on like Photoshop or like editing or literally anything. It's not like these classes are taught by just like random people. These are like experts in these fields. What's even more beautiful is that Skillshare will create like a learning path, which is basically like a little playlist of videos that are on a certain topic. So let's say like you want to like start a YouTube channel. There's like a learning path for it. It'll have like classes for everything that you need for a YouTube channel, just right there, bing bada boom. You absolutely know the deal already, Tiffany. The first 500 people to click the link in my description will get their first month of Skillshare for free. If you haven't joined Skillshare by this point, I don't know what you're doing, my guy, my dude, especially when there's opportunities like this. You can click the link in my description, join Skillshare and get your first month for free. If you're within the first 500 people, check out Skillshare. You're going to love it. Once again, check out the link in my description. The first 500 people get their first month for free. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Okay, in case you're new to my wrap-ups, how it works is we talk about the books from my least favorite to my most favorite. Without further ado, let's get started, okay? But before we talk about the books that I finished and read, let's talk about the books that I DNF'd, okay? There are 3, which is kind of crazy. Don't you think that's kind of crazy? I think it's kind of crazy. Anyway, these are in no particular order. I have This Will Only Hurt for a Moment by Delilah S. Dawson. I've read a few things from Delilah, and can I tell you, none of them have really popped their pussies for me, personally. I got that far into it and realized this is some bullshit that I don't care about. What really irks me though too about this is that I paid full price for this. I paid like $36. Sorry, $39 Canadian for this. Just for me to DNF it. That kind of rubs my ass the wrong way. So, Delilah, if you wanted to reimburse me. Like, I don't hate it. It's whatever. But if you want, I'm just thinking if you wanted to. Anyway, in case you're like, what is that even about, Jordaline? Let me tell you, you little mosquito bite baby. This is about this woman whose name I forget. Her name is Sarah. Her name is Sarah Carpenter. I never forgot. Her boyfriend, I think, was like abusive or something. I think he was abusive. Either that or he was just the worst. Who can tell these days? She like leaves her boyfriend. She like gets up in the middle of the night. She packs her shit. She gets the fuck out of Dodge and she goes to this retreat to start over. Do you know what I mean? Like she's thinking like, I need to cleanse my soul, my heart. So I'm going to go to this retreat and hope for the best. And it's also this like artsy fartsy retreat. It's a place where like artists go and stuff to like make their art. And our girl Sarah is like a carpenter, right? Or no, not a carpenter. What is she? Her carpenter is her last name. What is she? She makes pottery. She like deals with pottery stuff. Sarah arrives and like literally the first night that she's there, she finds like a dead possum in her bed because everybody's like given their own cabins. Sarah finds a fucking possum in her bed and she's like, excuse me, I didn't pay thousands of dollars to come here to find a dead possum in my bed. What the actual fuck? And they're like, oh my God, that's so weird. We're so sorry. And then weird stuff just keeps happening. And maybe this retreat isn't all that like retreaty. You know what I mean? Maybe it's more like a cage or like a trap. I didn't get that far into it. I almost made it to page 100. If I'm being honest, Tiffany, which I always am, with you at least, I tried. I was reading it and I was like, this is fine. This is fun. But then eventually the narration just like started to actually grind my ass. That's not even a thing people say. It just started to annoy me. And I was like, no, I'm gonna put this down. I'm gonna leave this. And then like a few weeks later, I was like, let me go back to it because maybe it was just like my mood. I went back to it, listened to it for maybe like an hour. And I was like, nope, never mind. Still fucking hate it. I still, for some reason, can't get on board with it. I think the main character annoys me. I was also annoyed by just like how derivative it felt of so many other thrillers that I've already fucking read. I think the combination of the characters and then how repetitive it feels because I feel like I've already read this novel like 6 times. Not my faves. Let me know if you finished it, if you read it, and if you liked it, and if you think I should try to go back to it and like power through. Please let me know. I also started reading I Died Too, but They Haven't Buried Me Yet. This is about this guy whose daughter has died or like gone missing rather. He does this ritual where he like buries a new grave and like puts in like one of her belongings into the grave every year. For what it sounds like, it's about his grief. I also kind of feel like maybe it's like a possession novel, but I didn't get that far. I got that far into it. It wasn't even like a choice, honestly, for me to like not go back to it. I just put it down one day and then I never picked it back up. I think the reason I didn't go back to it was because once again, the main character annoyed me. I get it. He's grieving. His daughter has been dead maybe for like 6 years or something. The way that this man is hateful is crazy. I get it. Like not every character has to be this like virtuous, pious, holier than fucking thou kind of thing. We can read about shitty people, but this guy just annoyed me. Reading about him, literally losing it on people who like are not even doing anything. I just couldn't. He was like homophobic. He was like racist, I think. And he was just, no, I'm not interested. Like, no, thank you. I might go back to this. Maybe. We'll see. The last book that I DNF'd is Fake Dates and Mooncakes. This is by Cher Lee. This was just kind of like insta-lovey, if I'm being honest. I barely remember what it was about. I think it's about a guy who works at like a cafe and then he meets another guy. Their relationship happened so quickly. Like they were so instantly just like, oh my God, yeah, we're like totally into each other for sure. There was no like suspension of belief. You know what I mean? And I think the conflict isn't necessarily that they're not going to get together. I think the conflict has more to do with like one of their families. I started reading this after I read another book that was like similar-ish that I liked way more than this. I was like, in comparison, my dude, you are lackluster. I might not go back to this. I feel like I never will. Let me know in the comments as well if you think I should go back to this. Once again, Tiffany, before we get into the books that I've actually read, let me talk about the manga as well that I read in January and February. For Christmas, I bought myself My Love Mix-Up, the entire series. Merry Christmas to me. And I did read them in, I think January I read them. So I read volume 1 to 9. Let me quickly go through the volumes. Volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6, volume 7, volume 8, volume 9. This series is about this guy whose name is Aoki. This guy, he has a crush on this girl. He's in class and he needs an eraser. And so his crush gives him her eraser to use. And he's like, oh my God, thank you. You're like literally an angel. And then he sees that on the eraser is written Ida, the guy who sits behind him with like a little heart, and he is absolutely bereft. He's like miserable about it. And then he also happens to accidentally drop the eraser, and who picks it up but fucking Ida. So Ida sees the eraser with his name on it with a little heart, and it's coming from this guy. And so Ida is like, oh my God, Aoki has a crush on me. It's like a misunderstanding turned to like relationship, bro. It's so cute. This is a BL manga as well, and it's so fucking cute and also hilarious, dude. It's so funny. I was giggling and giggling and kicking my feet the entire time. The only thing that I wasn't a big fan of was the second couple. I don't like the guy in the relationship. The girl is really cute. She's really, really cute, but the guy, no, he's kind of dumb. Also, this is like very chaste. It's like very much like they kiss twice in the entire series, and that's all we see. I'm still here for it because I think it's really, really sweet. And I think it's really, really cute about these like teenagers like fumbling and stumbling with like love, and it's just sweet. It's just cute. I would say it's a solid like 7 out of 10. And then in February, I did reread Sasaki and Miyano. Can you even blame me, dude? A girl has to every now and again read Sasaki and Miyano to find the will to live once again. Let me show you these covers. I don't have volume 7 or 8 because I lent them to my friend. I will show you these covers. I did read volume 1 to 10, by the way. We have volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, volume 5, volume 6. Then we have volume 9, the newest one, which is volume 10. So I reread Sasaki and Miyano, and what is there to say, honestly, other than the fact that it's perfection? There are no negative points, in my opinion, to Sasaki and Miyano. Like, it's just the cutest thing in the world. The only bad thing I could say is that it takes forever for new material to come out. But like, that has nothing to do with the series. That's like the mangaka, which like, she's ill, or I think she was ill. So like, I also can't even fault her for it because she wasn't feeling well. If you don't know what Sasaki and Miyano is, which I'm like confused because have you seen me? But anyway, Sasaki and Miyano is about Sasaki and Miyano. They meet in high school and they start to bond over BL manga because Miyano, who is this guy, is a fudanshi. And so he loves like boys love manga. And Sasaki, who wants to get closer to Miyano, is like, bro, let me read this boys love shit. Miyano starts lending Sasaki manga, and then Sasaki starts to get feelings for Miyano. Miyano might be in his own boys love story. It's the cutest thing in the entire world, Tiffany. If you haven't read this, if you haven't watched the anime or the movie, bro, what are you doing? Especially if you like boys love. This is the creme de la creme. This is the piece de la resistance, okay? Thank you. Now that we've gone through all of that, let's talk about the actual books that I read. And let's talk about them from my least favorite to my most favorite, okay? I think my least favorite book of the last 2 months was Creep by Jennifer Hillier. And like, I can't even say that like I hate this book because I don't. I just think that it was like fine. It was fine and then sometimes not good. In this, we're following this woman named Sheila. Sheila goes to work one day because she's like a professor. She's very fancy. Also, she's really hot and she's Asian. The book wants you to know. So she goes to work and she has this teaching assistant named Ethan. She pulls Ethan aside into her classroom. They're alone and she says, Ethan, I'm breaking up with you. Like, this is over. I'm going to be a married woman in like 3 weeks or something. So we have got to cut this thing off. Sheila is like almost 40 years old. Ethan is like 20 fucking 3 or something. She's like finally starting to like piece the thing together that maybe if she keeps fucking this like basically kid, in my opinion, if I was like almost 40 and fucking a 22 to 23 year old, I would be like, that's a fucking child, bro. Honestly, now, me just like in my 30s, I'm like, that's a child, bro. Ew. Anyway, that's besides the point. I just think Sheila's gross. She's like, Ethan, it's over. And Ethan is like, cool, sure. However, it wasn't cool. It wasn't sure. Okay, Ethan is mad. Ethan's big fucking mad. And Ethan's gonna get revenge on Sheila because who the fuck does she think she is trying to like let me go? As if she's in control of this relationship. No. Ethan's a psycho. This is just whatever. And then also kind of weird. Just weird in the way that it talks about women. Weird in the way that it talks about Sheila. And the way that the book just kept trying to convince me that Sheila was hot. I just couldn't take it. I was like, I don't care if Sheila is hot for an Asian woman in her 40s. Like, what are you trying to say? The whole book was just like, what if women were sex objects? Also, Sheila as a protagonist, literally hate her. She's real shitty. She cheats on her husband, this guy named Morris, who's like 6'4" and like a teddy bear, bro. And he doesn't deserve it. I think there's one more book after this, or maybe more. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna read it. I'm not interested. Thanks, Jen, but no thanks. I feel kind of weird talking about this after Creep, but like the rest of the books were just fine, including this. This was fine, but like not my favorite. This is Wake Up and Open Your Eyes by Clay McLeod Chapman. This is about this guy named Noah and his family. He wakes up one day after getting like a weird call from his mom. She sounds weird and he's kind of worried about her. And so he goes to check up on her. I think he's in like New York and they're in like Pennsylvania or something like that. I'm not sure. Either way, he goes to his mom's place. He shows up and the house is in disarray. The house is in complete fucking shambles. He's like, what the actual F is going on here? He finds his mom and his dad and they're acting real weird. Real freaking weird. They're doing weirdo freaky shit, including masturbating in front of him. Noah's mom is just like diddling herself in front of him. And he's like, whoa, bro, whoa. That's crazy. And then, you know, she tries to kill him or whatever. The book is basically about people who have a conservative political viewpoint turning into kind of like possessed zombie-ish type of people. I really liked the beginning of this, like loved the beginning of it. And then we switched from Noah's point of view to Noah's like extended family, like his brother's family. The majority of the novel felt like it was from that point of view. And like, I get it. But from the synopsis, it was like, this is about Noah. And then it wasn't about Noah. And then we switch over to Noah again. But in this weird Anderson Cooper thing, I can't even describe it. I could never really connect to the book after we switched to the other family. And then when we got to the Anderson Cooper thing, I was like, and I'm doubly out now. Like, I don't know who Anderson Cooper is. I'm not like an Anderson Cooper kind of person. I barely know who he is. I know that he's like a silver-haired gay man. That's all I know. What I did find funny though was how in the beginning of the book, his mom and his dad being like hypersexual with him kind of insinuated that conservative people are like incestuous or like fuck their parents or their family. Sweet Home Alabama kind of vibes. And I thought that was kind of funny. Also, the ending, I wasn't a fan of. This for me is like a 2.5 star read. Like it's not good, but it's also not bad. It's just right there in the middle. But I do know that some people really enjoyed this. And so I would say that if you are interested in it, I would give it a read. But maybe try to get it for free from like your library or something if you're not like open to spending like the big boy money on it. Because I did buy this with my own money. Let's look at the price for fun. Let's just look at the price for fun. The price of books, bro, has been crazy. Oh, this is 34 Canadian. That's actually not bad. $34. Why in the name of Lucifer, in my mind, is $34 for a book reasonable? That's crazy. That's insane. And I hate that. I actually hate that. Next, let's talk about At Dark, I Become Loathsome by Eric LaRocca. This book, bro, I have so many thoughts and feelings about this book. But first of all, in case you don't know, this is about this guy named Ashley, which, by the way, dudes named Ashley, I don't know what it is, they're hot. Honestly, dudes with girl names, kind of hot. Anyway, this is about Ashley. He is a grieving father and widower. His wife is dead also. And he's having a hard time. He's having a really hard time. He's gone really hard into his emo phase. And he also has this business where he gives people like this like weirdo, crazy experience of being buried alive. Just basically about him and his journey. I have similar feelings for this as I did for this. It's fine, but I wasn't personally living, laughing, loving, crying, screaming, throwing up. I wasn't like giggling, gaggling, kicking my feet. I was kind of just like, this is weird and kind of funny. Number one, Tiffany, the audiobook. Okay, I had the audiobook from Libro, which by the way, if you want to use my affiliate link, I get a free audiobook if you sign up. Anyway, I was listening to the audiobook and the audiobook narrator, it's the same guy who did the narration for Haunting Adeline for The Stalker. So the entire audiobook, all I could think about was just like how this man was like a stalker and kind of haunt. But the actual book, the text, not giving that. In the text, Ashley is described as being like scrawny and like having a very like effeminate voice. But the audiobook narrator was like, "At dark, I am loathsome." He had this like very deep, dark voice. And then the actual text was like, "Actually, I'm a little bit femme." I couldn't unhear the stalker. But anyway, this book was kind of annoying in certain parts. Ashley just seemed like he never got a chance to have an emo phase. And like, this was his chance to do that. Every 10 minutes, every 5 minutes, he would be like, "At dark, I become loathsome. And I am just like a vessel of darkness. And oh, sir, you're like 37 years old. He's suffering, right? And that's hard. That's horrible. But also to just like keep repeating the same thing, that he's loathsome at dark. I was like, I'm not the demographic for this. As the book went on, I just liked Ashley less and less and less and less and less. And I honestly kind of think that like at the end, if you know what I mean, like at the end when the thing happens, I kind of feel like that wasn't the call. Like in my opinion, like if it was me, I wouldn't have done that. I didn't like Ashley. I thought he was kind of annoying. I thought it was kind of giving like 2007, like slit my wrists and cross my eyes or whatever how does that song go? It was giving Ohio is for fucking lovers, bro. And I wasn't a huge fan. This cover though is absolutely stunning. Also, this is an ARC copy sent to me from Eric's people. So I'm really appreciative that they sent me an ARC, and I really appreciate that. I really do. But it just wasn't for me. I just wasn't a big fan. I prefer, actually, you know what? I've only ever read one other thing from Eric LaRocca, and that was like his first release or their first release. Do they use he, him, or they, them? So Eric LaRocca uses he/they pronouns. Although actually, what I will say, the little like gay horror side stories or like short stories that were kind of like implanted, I thought were really fun. I really liked those. Next, let's talk about Such Lovely Skin. This is by Tatiana Schlotbone. First of all, cover. Okay, yeah, that's freaking stunning. Honestly, I bought this book because the cover is so crazy. And also the book is pretty fun. So in this, we're following this girl whose name is Viv. Viv is like a Twitch streamer, right? But she hasn't been streaming for like months because her sister died like while she was streaming. Viv is babysitting her little sister. Her sister ends up dying, but Viv ends up lying about a certain thing. She's just like stayed away from streaming because she's like, I can't do it. But she does go back, right? And she starts this new game, and the game is like, tell me a secret. And Viv is like, okay, haha. She tells the game like a really small secret, and the game is like, no, bro, I know you can do better than that. Tell me. So Viv tells the game about what actually happened to her sister. And then all of a sudden there's like a doppelganger of Viv out there causing mischief and harm and doing like real fucked up things. Can I be honest? Can I say my truth? I didn't really care about Viv. I didn't care about the other guy either. I forget his name. I didn't care about Viv, but I did really like the doppelganger aspect of the book. I thought that was really interesting. I thought there was like so much that the author could do with it. And I did kind of feel like they didn't go as far as they could have, but they did go pretty far. And I thought that was fun. Also, I did kind of feel as though like at the end when they're trying to like banish the doppelganger, it was kind of just like anticlimactic a little bit. What I will say is Vic's secret about her sister, that shit fucked me up. That shit took me a full 3 business days to get over, okay? I was like, what the fuck? But yeah, I would say that this is like a fun, very non-committal kind of book. I feel like now that I've read it, I'm gonna forget that I read it. But I would recommend it because I do know that a lot of people, again, really, really like this. And we're big fans of it. So I'd say give it a shot if you're interested. Next, let's talk about Looking for Smoke by K.A. Cobell. This is a mystery thriller YA novel about this girl. Mara has moved to this new like reservation, right, with her family. I think her father originally lived in the Blackfeet reservation. Mara moves there with her family, and she's kind of like an outsider. Like nobody really fucks with Mara. They're all like, you're not from here, you're from like whatever. And she's like, okay, bro, I'm like literally 16, just trying to do my fucking best, but okay. She gets invited to do this like giveaway thing, this like event, which is like surprising because usually people try to like exclude her, but now they're trying to include her. And she's like, oh my God, yay. Okay, cool. There's 5 other people, right? However, somebody ends up getting murdered. This girl named Samantha. The only people who could have done it would have been one of the people in this giveaway group, including Mara. And Mara had motive, okay? Mara didn't like Sam because Sam was a bitch to her, but everybody kind of had motive. I liked this like a smidge more than I liked this. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good, but I wasn't like wowed. I wasn't like blown away. I did enjoy it though. The reveal of like who the killer was, I don't want to say it was obvious because it wasn't, because for most of the book, I was like, who was it? I just kept going like back and forth between the characters, but then closer to the end, I was like, oh, it was that guy. I really loved how the book's focus was on the murdered and missing Indigenous women and like that whole epidemic that's rampaging in Canada and the US. Indigenous women are more likely than any other group to be murdered, which is insane. I really appreciated that aspect of this book. I don't know what it is, Tiffany. I can't seem to have like a one-on-one connection with a character because I never fully connected to Mara. There was just something sort of keeping me like at a distance. I was engaged though. I was engaged in like being suspicious of all of these characters. Actually, you know what I will say? I really enjoyed Mara's friendship with Lauren. I thought their friendship was actually really cute. I take back what I said. I connected with Lauren and Mara's friendship like a lot. I thought they were really, really cute. I actually kind of shipped them. Actually, you know what? That was another thing. I was like, we don't need a romance in this. I never need a romance unless I'm explicitly reading romance. I would give it maybe like a 3.25, maybe like a 3.5. I thought it was fun. I thought it was interesting. And I thought it was like impactful in talking about murdered and missing Indigenous women. Next, let's talk about Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. I read this based on my patron's suggestion, which by the way, if you want to join my Patreon, you can. We do all kinds of fun stuff there. So if you're interested, check it out. My patrons were like, you should give this a shot. Because I was like, what do I want to read? I don't know. And they helped me choose this. And this was a fun, cute read. This is about Gwen and Art. They're ancestors of like King Arthur and Gwendolyn. And they're like betrothed to get married. The only issue is that Art isn't really for the girlies. And then Gwen, she's into dudes, but she's also really into girls. Specifically this one like hot knight girl who I will say, yeah, pretty hot. I can't get over just like a hot butch like fighter type. Oh, the more I'm like subjected to like butch types, the more my heart pitter patters. Art ends up finding out that Gwen likes this girl, which by the way, can I say something? Gwen and Art, they're not friends. Not friends at all. Like they hate each other. They've hated each other since they were kids. But Art finds out that Gwen likes this girl. And then Gwen finds out that Art is into the dudes. And so they come up with like a little pact, a little thing to be like, hey, we both are not really into this. Let's find another way. I thought that this was really cute, really fun. The characters were engaging. Art is a douche in the beginning. I think everybody would agree with that. Also, him and Gwen's brother are so cute. I could literally die. Honestly, I would kill for a book just about Gwen's brother because I think that would be so cute. What I was personally really zooming in on was Gwen and the night girl, whose name I literally cannot remember. Her name is Bridget. Gwen and Bridget, I was there. And honestly, the ending kind of made me happy because it wasn't necessarily like and they lived happily ever after. It was like very realistic, but it's very cute. It's very easy to read, very easy to get through. The audiobook is great. And I also enjoyed like the kind of political parts of the book as well. I would say that this is like a 3.5 star for me. I did enjoy this. We are getting into the meat and the potatoes, my dude, okay? We have Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White. This is a YA horror novel and it's gay. It's redacted. This is about this guy named Benji. Benji is a trans kid. He's like 16 and he's part of this like group. It's like very religious group, fundamentalist kind of cult vibe. Benji is like, hey, I'm a boy. And they're like, you're not. The book starts with Benji trying to literally escape. He's got his father's blood all over him and he's running. Benji ends up eventually ending up in the care with this like group of gay kids. They're all like LGBT and they all kind of like stick together. I forgot to mention it's the apocalypse. The world ended and there's like monsters. The like pseudo leader of this group is this guy named Nick. And Benji's like, first of all, Nick is hot. Second of all, can I stay? And Nick is like, I kind of know what you are. I know that you're a monster, but sure. Benji is gonna turn into a monster. Like Benji's death is immediately told and like given to us at the beginning of the book. The book is basically Benji finding his own freedom and finding his own healing. It's very interesting and it's very, very gay. Andrew's writing, stunning, gorgeous. The horror, the like gore, crazy. There's so much going on internally for Benji, and there's so much like anticipation of like, will he turn into a monster? Will he be okay? Can he defeat this huge thing that created him, that brought him into the world? The world building did kind of confuse me in the beginning. I was kind of like, what is going on? I think that might be more about me being just like a little bit dumb than actually like the book not being comprehensive. I loved how gory it was. I loved that there were so many queer characters, like so many queer characters. I loved the religious drama. That was really fun. The ending of the book is so compassionate, so empathetic. The ending kind of made me want to cry. The only critique I have for this really is that I think it could have been fleshed out in certain places. Like I feel like certain characters could have been given more because they were kind of just like brought in and being like, we're very important to the plot. It's kind of like, okay, well, who are you? Literally, where are you from? I don't remember you. That's my only critique. I would say if you like horror, if you like gay people, read it. If you don't like horror, if you don't like gay people, maybe like avoid it. We have Cafe Con Lychee. This is so cute. This is so cute. I read this literally, I think in January, like beginning of January, bro. I literally cried multiple times reading this, multiple times. This is about this guy named Theo. Theo wants to escape Vermont, okay? He's living with his parents, but he feels very trapped. He feels very like confined by his parents. And his parents own this cafe that's in like direct competition with this other cafe that is owned by this guy's parents named Gabi. Okay, or Gabby? I think it's Gabby. Gabby and Theo, not cool. They're not on good terms. Theo specifically really doesn't like Gabby. Like he's like, you're a mess, dude. You're a complete mess. But Gabby's on the soccer team with Theo, mostly because he wants his parents to be like, you're straight, you know what I mean? Because like Gabby's not out, but Theo is. Theo is the only out gay person in his class, in his school. But Gabby is also like a little gay. I mean, not like a little gay. I think he's like full gay, but he's not out to anybody. They start to understand each other a bit more. They start to become friends, and then maybe also more. Bro, I loved this so much. It was so cute because, kind of spoiler alert, anytime that there's like a coming out scene, I sob. I'm dead. Can't take queer people coming out because especially if it's like accepted, bro, I'm gonna sob. It was just a really cute, light, fluffy book about like acceptance, about family, about love. And like Gabby and Theo are so fucking cute together. It's crazy. I really, really like this. Also, the cover for it is absolutely stunning. I read this and then I started reading this, and this in comparison to this, even though I shouldn't be comparing, I know, but this was like literally trash in comparison to this. I really liked this. I thought it was really fun and really cute. And I would recommend it if you're looking for something fluffy, but also kind of sad. We have 3 books more to talk about. I literally don't know which book I liked more because I feel as though these are on the same playing field. Do you know what I mean? Let's just say that they're even, okay? So I did read Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. Grady, next time if you could make your title just like a smidge shorter, because every single time I think about like saying this title, my words get tangled up and I can't do it. So next time maybe just do like a one word title. We would all really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm sure you know what this is about, Tiffany. You have to. But basically it's about like pregnant girls in this like institution for pregnant girls where they're gonna like have to give up their babies, but then like some of the girls find witchcraft, and so that becomes like a thing. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed the characters a lot. I think what makes this book good is the characters, obviously. I think Grady's character work is what shines through. I think that's kind of always been what shines through for him. Like some authors slay a plot. Some authors are really good with writing, with words, making it like poetry almost. Grady, I think, shines with character work. This is no exception. This is really good. The main character, Fern, I thought she was interesting. At no point was I confused about like her motivations or what she needed or what she wanted. You know what I mean? Like it was all very clear, and not even necessarily just because she was telling us, but because there was a lot of showing too as well. What I will say is sometimes reading the book, I kind of felt, why are you beating me over the head with this message? Like, I get it. Grady Hendrix is kind of like this like progressive horror author. But at certain points, I was like, the message of the social issues that you're trying to bring to light, you're kind of bashing me in the head with it as if I'm not affected by the issues that you're trying to talk about. It seemed like a little bit preachy. It did seem a little bit weird at times to be like, a man wrote this novel to bring up messages or themes of things that don't pertain to him. If like individually, do you know what I mean? Like maybe they pertain to his wife, his children, his mother, whatever. But like that was something that was kind of like in the back of my mind. But then again, with feeling as though he was really just beating me over the head with the message. And I don't know. Tell me in the comments, please, if you felt any way similar to that while reading it, because that's kind of how I felt. And Katie and I talked about this on my Patreon. And I think I remember her saying something similar, that she felt similarly. I liked the characters a lot. There was like a lot of compassion in the book. And there were so many characters where I was like, I want an entire trilogy just about you. Of course, I shipped people, but there was nobody gay. So that was kind of homophobic, but whatever. The witch part I thought was kind of interesting because I wasn't sure which way Grady was going to go with it, but I do enjoy where it ended. Anyway, if you're interested, you should read this because I think you would probably like it. It's good. I don't think it's like amazing. I wouldn't say that this is like the best book I've ever read. I do think he's written better books than this, but this is good. This is like a 4-star read. The Queen by Nick Cutter. I did a reading vlog and I will actually link it so that you can see it if you want to. This is about Margaret. One day she opens her door and she finds a phone on her doorstep, and she sees that there's a text message on the phone to her from her best friend, Charity. She's like, that's really freaking weird because Charity went missing. Okay. Nobody's seen Charity. People think she's dead, bro. Margaret keeps getting text messages from Cherry. Cherry is telling her things to do. And that's kind of where the book begins. The book is set over one day and it's batshit crazy, bro. Now that I think about it, I think I definitely do prefer this to Wayward Girls, which is crazy because I've been talking shit. I've been talking mad shit about Nick Cutter. But here I am being like, actually, this is good. Actually, Nick Cutter might be good. Because first of all, the writing is stunning. The writing is gorgeous, bro. From the first like sentence, from the freaking prologue, I was like, excuse me? What did you just say? It's impossible to know another person, isn't it? To step past that locked door of their secretive inner self. Sure, you might suspect you can, even broadcast that suspicion to the world. My best friend and I are so tight that we finish each other's sentences. But honestly, do you even want to know? What if science found a way, and science is always finding ways, to string two brains together? What if you could hear the running hum of your closest friend's thoughts? What if you find out one day that she lusts to skin you alive, harvesting Kleenex-sized sheets of flesh to consume like fruit roll-up? You'd find out that she just doesn't hold that special place in her heart for you, the one you hold for her. That's the prologue. Once again, this is a book about women written by a man. I kind of always am like a little bit suspicious. Like, I'm not saying that men can't write women, but sometimes men can't write women. And so I'm always a little bit apprehensive. But Nick Cutter, I feel, really encapsulated the feeling of girlhood, of like shared girlhood. Reading it, I was like, motherfucker, how? In women's friendships, in the friendships between girls, there's like this secret language. There's this secret interconnectedness between girls, especially when you're young, when you're teenagers. I want to say that it goes past being platonic. It's like in the universe. Do you know what I mean? That's what girlhood is, okay? And I feel as though he got like just a smidge of that feeling and he put it in this book. And it's there. I can feel it. The friendship, the relationship between Charity and Margaret, First of all, it's like a little bit gay, which I kind of think all like real true girly friendships are a little bit gay. Maybe that's just me. That could just be me, but it's like a little bit gay. And Margaret's relationship to Charity is complex and nuanced and layered, and like, bro, talking about this now, I kind of feel like I like it more than I originally thought I did. There is something beautiful about their friendship. I will say there's like this whole other story about this guy named like Ruby or Rudy. That's kind of weird and kind of gross, but I guess it is connected. But there is that. But I really was in it for the friendship and then also seeing what Charity was going to do, because that also was crazy. This is super gory also. Like the prologue, like I was just talking about, super gory. And it starts out with a bang. We're talking about things, okay, in the prologue. It's crazy. I would definitely recommend that you pick this up and that you read it. I thought it was really good. 4 stars, maybe 4.5, if I'm being honest. I kind of like it more than I thought I did. The last book that we're going to talk about is one that I don't have physically because the publisher never sent me a copy, which is actually kind of freaking rude. And that is When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. Nat Cassidy sent me a PDF of the book. Thank you so much, Nat. And so I read it and it was amazing. This is about this woman. I forget her name actually. She ends up sort of taking in this kid because the kid's father is like a psycho freak. He's like really violent. And so she ends up like on the run with this kid while the father is trying to find them. The father, however, is like a monster, kind of like a Wolfman kind of vibe. What can I even say about this, bro? I do want to reread it when it comes out because I want to listen to the audiobook and I also want to annotate like the physical copy. So I am going to reread it, but the first read was batshit crazy, dude. It might be the best writing wise in terms of Nat Cassidy for me, I think. I don't know if it's my favorite of his so far. I think Mary might still be my favorite, but the gore, bro, the gore. I think about that sometimes. I think about the gory shit that happened in this book, bro. And I can't take it. I cannot take it. Somebody at one point is being torn apart limb by limb, and it's being described as rotisserie chicken. I used to eat meat. I used to eat rotisserie chicken a lot. Okay, I've had 1 or 2 rotisserie chickens, so I know the exact mental image that that's supposed to conjure in my mind, bro, and I'm not okay with it. That's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the descriptions of body horror in this book. There are so many. And each and every single one of them is more horrifying than the next. The main character, I kind of love her. I kind of live for her. The first like chapter is called like All Dads Are Motherfuckers or something like that. Because the main character is dealing with the grief or like the loss of her father, who she wasn't that like connected to, along with working just like a shitty job. And I don't want to say too much. I just want you to know that the characters are really cool, that like the world building is really cool. There's like certain things about this boy that are super interesting and super cool to think about. And the book feels a bit loopy. Like you feel a little bit loopy because you're like, there's so much possibility. It's a little bit scary. I loved it, bro. 5 stars. 5 stars. I think it's the first 5-star book I read all year. I think it's the only one, other than, of course, like Sasaki and Miyano, but like that's manga. But like the first novel I've read, 5 stars. So good, bro. When it comes out, which I think is like in April, like next month, you need to read it. Also, we're gonna have Nat Cassidy on the Patreon again to discuss this book with him live. I'm so excited. I can't wait. But that'll be like in June. 5 stars. You need to pre-order it right now. My friends, my family, my familia. Thank you so much for being here with me today, for listening to me yabber and yap. I really appreciate it. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them, if you haven't read them but you want to, or if I've convinced you to read them or not read them. Please let me know. Tell me. I need to know. Don't forget also to hit subscribe because we talk about spooky shit, we talk about creepy shit, we talk about Cafe Con Lychee and Sasaki and Miyano and shit. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. I will see you in my next one. Bye. I'll see you later, Tiffany. Thanks so much for joining me. Goodbye. It was good seeing you. Goodbye.